This is Newsmax TV. I'm Ashley Martella. We're pleased to welcome for the first time Jackie Gingrich Cushman, Newsmax's newest blogger. She is the daughter of Newt Gingrich and is a speaker, a columnist, and author. She founded the Learning Makes a Difference Foundation in 2006. Jackie has a new book out she wrote with her father. It's entitled 5 Principles for a Successful Life. Welcome to Newsmax, Jackie.
Thank you, Ashley. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
The 5 principles you mention are dream big, work hard, learn every day, enjoy life, and be true to yourself. Of those 5, which do you consider the most challenging?
I think the most challenging is number 5, which is to be true to yourself. I think you really have to start with the big dream so you know where you're going and what you want to accomplish. But I think in the end, as we all grow and change through life, that we become a different person along the way, that we grow and we grow into who we are supposed to be. So I think as we grow and change through life, that we really have to focus on how can we be ourselves? How can we really be true to who we're supposed to be? I think it requires an ongoing adjustment, thinking really hard about the talents that God gave us and how we're supposed to use those talents in our everyday lives. And then to really think about how can we really put everything to work and to be the person we're supposed to be. So I think it requires an ongoing adjustment and ongoing work.
I assume there's a great deal of self-discipline involved in this.
There is, and I think that's part of why we actually have all 5 of them, because if you look at any one principle, it becomes really too hard. But if you really start with that big dream so you know where you're going in your life and you have to work hard, to your point, that requires discipline. It also requires that when you fall down, which we all fall down, that you get back up. I think you have to learn every day, especially when you fall down. You have to learn from your mistakes. So I think they're all very, very important.
You make several references in the book to Walt Disney, who certainly dreamed big and made it all happen. What fascinates you and your dad most about him, would you say?
Well, I think there are a couple of things. First of all, speaking of failing, Dad did lose twice in the 70s. So for those that now think of him as a former speaker, he's incredibly successful, but there was a time in his life when he failed. And when he won that 3rd time, he actually announced at election night that he was taking the family to Disney World. So Disney World has for me a very special place in my heart. And then recently, Dad took myself and my 2 children, my husband and his wife, to Disney World. So we had all 3 generations at the Magic Kingdom, and it's just spectacular. You stand there at night and the fireworks are overhead, and you listen to the words of the song about how all your dreams can come true. And if you stop and think that one man who went bankrupt in Kansas, who then got on a train and went to California, that it was his dream and his vision, and he was able to make it come true, it really is inspiring. It's really unbelievable.
And of course, his dream continued even after his passing with the construction of Walt Disney World and 11 years later, Epcot Center.
You're exactly right, and that's what I think is so exciting about having that big dream, that not only does it inspire that person, to your point, Walt Disney, to really work hard, but it's contagious, that other people can see that dream. And that's really what real leadership is about, is not just a dream for your life, but how to improve the world. And then sharing that dream with other people, making it contagious, and to your point, continuing after they're gone.
Okay, let's turn our attention now to your recent blog entitled More of the Same Will Not Lead to Change. You note that although Obama keeps blaming Bush for the deficit and the debt he inherited, Obama himself was actually doubling the debt and nearly tripled the deficit. Please discuss that a bit for us.
Well, I think it's very interesting, and we've seen this throughout his presidency. You know, he actually began his speech this week at Brookings talking about his transition and how his budget director-to-be, Peter Orszag, was talking about the mounting debt and the deficits and how terrible they were. Well, clearly in this administration, you don't see any serious addressment of those issues. And I think what we've seen throughout this year is increased government intervention. Clearly we've had it in terms of, GM. We've had it in terms of rescues of banks. We've had it in terms of, we're looking at now healthcare. So everywhere we go, everywhere we look around us, there is more and more government intervention. I like to think of this as we're slowly, but unfortunately, possibly surely, being inoculated against the reality, which is, in reality, if we want more people to work and more people to be successful, they have to actually get out and work. They have to dream big and work hard. They can't sit around and wait for the government to fix things. Just this week, I was up in North Georgia talking to small business owners, and what they all tell me is, you know what, I don't want more government in my life, I want less government in my life. So when Obama's talking about how we need more of this and more of that and how the government can solve things, I think he's a little bit immune to reality, when what I hear is we need a little less government intervention and people to actually begin to get back to work.
Your father was big on bipartisanship when he was Speaker of the House. Do you see a bipartisan spirit coming from Nancy Pelosi and or the Obama White House?
Well, that's a great question. I think Nancy Pelosi, if you watched her after they passed the health care bill, when she stood up because they received one Republican vote and talked about the bipartisanship of this particular vote, I mean, seriously, you cannot take one vote, and then the representative from Louisiana is in a Democratic, district, and he voted because he knew that that's what he was going to be judged on when he ran again. You cannot call that a bipartisan effort. So no, I think it's very interesting. She can stand up and call it whatever she wants. Clearly, with one vote, that's not bipartisanship.
We have Dick Morris predicting to us another flip of Congress next year as in 1994. Do you see that as a possibility?
Oh, I think it's clearly a possibility. Everywhere that I go and I talk to people that are involved in politics, and even just recently in our election here in Atlanta, people are very tired, very, very tired of government telling them that here's how the government, can solve your problem. What the people want is less government, fewer taxes. They want the right to pursue their happiness. That's what people want. So I think when people really get fed up, what do? Get involved, get active, and vote. So I think it's our job, I think it's the job of the Republican Party to really think about and look for candidates that reflect the true values. So I think clearly we have a very great shot. It's a long way away in politics, as you know, anything can happen. But I think clearly we're going to be given an opportunity, and I hope we take advantage of that.
Jackie Gingrich Cushman, congratulations on your very inspirational new book, and we look forward to speaking with you again.
Thank you so much for having me on.
And thank you for watching Newsmax TV. Sarah Palin's new book, Going Rogue in American Life, will be released on November 17th. You can be among the first to get your copy. Check out our incredible free offer for Sarah's new book. Just go to Newsmax.com and click on the top banner for this great offer. Act today.